What is going on, Panther Lair? We're doing another voice overlay for you guys today. This time it's going to be based on Pitt's win at Chapel Hill recently, but I want to take a second here to break down a little bit of film from their prior meeting here at the end of December when North Carolina came to the Pete, just so we can kind of see maybe why they threw in a little bit of different wrinkle and kind of what's jumping out on tape. So this first thing that you're going to see is from their prior game. This is going to be a UCLA screen that Pitt sets, and it's going to be a stagger away for Hinson to open the scoring for the Panthers. The one thing I wanted to point out here is because this opened the game. So this is going to be on North Carolina's radar. Pitt runs UCLA screens in a ton of different games, and we're going to kind of blend that into why they probably added a new wrinkle. So as this plays here, you're going to see this UCLA screen here on the right wing, and how you're going to know that that's possible is it's going to be kind of a pass into the wing. Cummings is going to set this back screen here on Pete Nance. Hinson's going to try to use that screen, and Elliott is going to look into Hinson first. So that's the UCLA screen. Sometimes this is done with a 5-man here, I guess in a traditional sense, but, Pitt kind of inverts the rules. Looks in, nothing available, so he's going to pop back out here to Cummings, and you're going to see this staggered off-ball screen here. Hinson's going to use both of those. Does a nice little sidestep, and 3. Now, that's going to jump out on tape. So Pitt knows, hey, probably can't run a ton of this. They're going to be maybe onto that. I think that was kind of a stretch there, too, where Pitt ran a lot of double and even triple staggers away to get shooters open for 3. So if I'm North Carolina, I'm putting on that tape, I'm going to be ready for it. So Pitt does something new here. For the first time this season, they incorporated their Chicago action, but they did it in a different way. So let's talk about how they really did Chicago action initially, because they did do this. This is late in the game. This is one of Federico's, again, classic baskets that he makes around the 3 or 4 minute mark in the last 3 games that are relevant. So this is going to be Chicago action. You know that it's going to look like that. So this comes out of zoom action, right? It's a 3-player alignment. Cummings is receiving kind of this pin down here from the corner. Federico is dribbling right at Cummings, and this is going to be a handoff. So that's the zoom action part. Now, how this variants into Chicago is that you're going to see 2 things here that make this Chicago out of the zoom. Is Federico is going to dive roll to the rim after he sets this quick screen here, or he'll even slip early. And Hinson, who set the pin down, whoever sets this pin down, is going to pop to the perimeter. Now, this is aided by the fact that Burton and Nike Sabandi, you can see they're ready to exchange here, because that's going to confuse the roles of who is supposed to tag Federico here. So really good execution for those who watch the game. Now that Federico gets a basket here. Really good footwork and patience on the finish. Okay, so this is where Pitt starts molding in a different wrinkle, right? So they've done Chicago, they've done the UCLA screen, so they have to throw something new at Carolina. This is meeting number 2. So what you're going to see is you're going to see this pin down from Hinson, and Cummings is going to curl around this screen by Hinson. So this initially could think, oh, this is going to be zoom, right? This is bad spacing. But what this does is creates a lot of indecision. You might think it's bad spacing, let's say. It's going to create indecision here. It knocks out a help defender, and it really creates a position where the defender is trailing, right? That's what makes zoom action good, is that you're going to attack big gaps. The defender's trailing. Zoom action is really hard to ice, and that's something that UNC was trying to do. But this kind of is disguised like it might be zoom action here for Sabandi, or like a rip screen here from Cummings. But you'll see he curls this. Now we're in zoom action here. And this is also going to be Chicago because Hinson's going to pop. Federico is going to roll, and he's going to get that alley-oop lob right here for the first time they ran this variant. Now, the second time they ran this on the very next possession. I always think Pitt, and a lot of schools do this, is they're going to run, their first version. They're going to go right back to it. Sometimes they'll have a variant. Sometimes they'll just see if a team can stop it. So this time you'll see they're going to run the same type of setup, although Burton and Nike's roles are kind of inverted here, and Burton is going to start so high up on the wing. Pete Nance is actually going to chip Federico because he thinks the lob is going to come here, right? He sees this coming. They just ran this again. So he's going to try to chip here. Maybe not really intentionally. Maybe this just wasn't the greatest execution, but he bumps Federico enough for the drop coverage that UNC was playing all night on this. And it allows Baycott to get back to eliminate any type of lob or pass into Federico. Cummings makes a really nice adjustment here. Hits a tough shot. He was making shots all night. So this is the 3rd time they ran it, and they ran this early in the second half. Again, you'll see the setup here. It's kind of an exchange between Hinson every time. You'll see that. Then Cummings kind of takes that route here, makes this little zipper cut into the zoom action, which becomes Chicago. So again, the alignment here. What makes this unique from their other Chicago action is they just put 2 guys in the corner. Pitt's a good shooting team this year, so you can't really help out of either corner. Here we go again. This is the zoom action. Hinton pops. Federico rolls, making it to Chicago. And nice little pass into Federico. So again, Pitt has just been doing these types of things all season. They've been really good about it, mixing in different wrinkles, kind of masking how they're going to get into some of their very familiar actions. Zoom action is obviously a very popular thing across college basketball, across the NBA. Pitt's done a really good job of kind of molding that into Chicago. So this is something that I'm not sure they're going to go back to a lot. It just might be, they're going to go to zoom action a lot and probably some Chicago. But the way they went about this, the way they masked this, not sure if they'll do that in future games, but it is really cool to see that Pitt, in round 2 versus UNC, they're willing to throw in something different.